Hey, how's everybody doing? My name's Coupe, and I am back, and I'm bringing you some more Magic the Gathering 2013 for Xbox 360. Now, this is a game that I've played before on my channel. I'm going to play a match, but I'm first going to quickly show you the deck I'm using so that way you guys have a rough estimate of what you're getting into. This is the deck I'm using. It's got Thragtusks, which is a new new card that came out, which is really huge. And for the people that really don't know how to play Magic, don't worry. I'm gonna get into a quick tutorial at the beginning before I start playing. But I'm gonna just quickly show you some of the cool cards that I have. Thragtusks are really good. So this is the deck I'm using. I've thinned it down to 60, and these are the cards that I really like. I actually wish I had more of these, but I do not because the game only gives you one, so there's nothing I can do about it. I like that just because it's good for protection against reach. This is the only removal that this deck has. Target card from graveyard to your hand, that's really good. Due to trample, whatever, it deals combat damage to a player. I get to put a copy of this, that's pretty huge. And I love this card. And this card is part of the mechanic of the deck. This card mixed with the Thragtusk. And so the other card, at the beginning of my turn, I have to put a card back in my hand. And when this is on the battlefield, if I put it back to my hand, it leaves the 3/3 beast, and then I get to replay it. I gain 5 life, and I get that card back. So it's a huge mechanic. That's the main thing behind it. You guys can. These are all the big stomp, expensive cards, and then it goes down into the Thragtusks and more protection against flying creatures. And yeah, all right. So I'm playing a green deck. It's fully green. There's 5 different colors. And there is white, green, black, red, blue, and you can play multicolored decks where there's 2 different colors. Usually, a color it kind of works in a similar fashion, the whole deck. And this is usually about getting mana out fast. Green is usually about getting mana out very fast, as well as making your creatures grow with certain things, and a little bit of life gain. And yeah, so that's the deck. We're gonna jump over and play the campaign. I can't play multiplayer right now because I don't have any Xbox Live Gold time. Yeah, turn this down. It's really loud in my ears. Not necessarily loud. Unnecessarily loud. I am going to play let's go over and play somebody tough. This guy's super tough, but he's only tough if he gets going. Once he gets going, you're fucked. The life gain deck is pretty tough to play against sometimes. Alright, whatever. We'll play against this guy. Alright, so he is a white deck, and his pure mechanic behind him is gaining life. Bringing out creatures and getting more life. The basis behind Magic the Gathering is, for really basic definition, is each player starts with 20 life. The object of the game is to kill that person, whether it's from attacking that person with creatures that you put on the battlefield, or using spells to hurt that person's life total. And so I'm playing green, and what's called is mana. And basically what mana is your land cards. They're your funds you use to spend that money. These are all my land cards. So mine are all green because I'm playing all green. So I have four mana, which is good. That guy costs 7. That's a lot. That guy costs 4. He's really good because anyway, so at the beginning of every turn, you're allowed to play 1 mana card unless you have a card that says otherwise. So I'm allowed to play 1 forest every turn, and depending on how many forests I have on the battlefield, I can play a creature. Now this creature costs 1 green forest, and then one of any color. So it could be another green one, or it could be something else. That's what the gray with the 1 means at the top right. The tree means it's one has to be green, and the other one could be any color. So this one costs 7 in total, 5 of any color and 2 specifically green. Now there's creatures and then there's spells, and this is a creature. It says right underneath the image on the left, in the middle of the card, says creature, and then it says the type of creature it is. Not all, but a lot of creatures have abilities. So when Elvish Visionary, which is the name of the card you can see at the top, when this card enters the battlefield, draw a card. So you get to draw a card. Each player starts with 7 cards. You're not allowed to have more than 7 cards in your hand at the end of your turn, unless you have a card that says otherwise. And you put things onto the battlefield. So let's keep this hand and we're going to start playing. So he gets to go first. He plays his 1 land. You're allowed to play 1 land each turn unless you have a card out that says otherwise. So this card, the little slanted italic writing at the bottom in quotes is usually just stories about the card. It's got nothing to do with how the game's played. So this says, whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. So every time I bring in a creature, or my opponent brings in a creature, his life total is going to go up. So it can be tough to deal with. It can be tough to deal with, and I don't really have... Green isn't put with a lot of ways to completely get rid of creatures. So I'm going to play 1 land, and I don't have anything that costs only 1, so I can't do anything. My turn is done. And then there he plays his 2nd land, and then if he has anything that costs 1 or 2, he can play that. And he's attacking me. This is the attack step. Stop timer. So every time you bring out a creature, you can't attack with it until for 1 full turn, unless the card says on itself that says otherwise. And I'll get into little descriptions of detailed words later on. So he's attacking me with a 1/1 creature. So it does 1 damage to me, and it has 1 health itself. So if I have a 1/1 creature and I block his attacking creature, his creature does 1 damage to mine, mine does 1 damage to it, and they both will die. If I have a 1/2 creature, mine does 1 damage to it, but it has 2 health, so it would only deal 1 damage to its 2 health, so my creature would live. And at the end of every person's turn, each card's life total goes back to normal. So if he did 1 damage to my guy, it would have 1 health left. But if he couldn't in some way deal with that 1 health, it would reset back to having 2. But anyway, so I'm going to let him attack me because I can't do anything about it. And now he just brings in a creature. So the italic writing at the bottom is got nothing to do with the game. It's just a story. So when Lone Missionary enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life. So he's going to gain 1 life from a new creature coming into the battlefield from previous card, and 4 life from this one. So he's going to gain 5 life. Now he's up to 25. I'm at 19 because he hit me for 1. So I'm going to bring out this guy and now have something that costs 2. I can play this, and every time I play this, I get to draw a card. So it's just going to randomly give me another card. You draw a card at the beginning of every turn too. For 8, I have so much expensive shit. Give me a break. I got this guy out, which is fun. A lot of fun. So he will attack. Might. Oh, wait. Now. There's creatures and there's artifacts. Artifacts and enchantments are very similar. Enchantments can go on people or they can go on other creatures. And now it's my attack phase because I played that creature last turn. I'm allowed to attack with it. So he brought out a card that says it's an artifact that just sits off to the side. You can't attack it. You can deal with it. You can remove it if you have some card that says remove an artifact or a permanent that your opponent controls from the battlefield. And this is just an artifact that says white spells you cast, meaning himself, only him, costs one colorless less to play. So if you have something that costs one white and one colorless, it only costs the one white now. It doesn't cost another a color, a mana of any color. So everything just got a whole lot cheaper for him now. I am not going to attack because I don't really want to lose my creature for no reason. And he probably won't attack either, because he's bringing out another one of that other card. So every time a creature comes into the battlefield, he gains 1 life. So that's now every time a creature comes into the battlefield from now on, he's going to be gaining 2 life. If you think about having 20 life total, he's already up to 27. He's got a really good lead. I'm going to try and make this game as fast as possible. So this card says, went out of the second paragraph. The first, there's one line, and then there's a second paragraph. Jaraka, whenever this card enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each time you kick it. And where it says multi-kick, you can pay 1 green and 1 of any color mana. That's the cards, the green cards that I have on the battlefield, to do this kicker. So I could put a +1/+1 counter on it, meaning my 1/1 would now become a 2/2. And every other elf enters the battlefield with the same amount of counters that I put on this guy. So I can pump him for 1 right now, or I can bring in something else that costs 4. This guy is, at the beginning of my turn, return a target creature you control to its owner's hand. So I need to get this Thragtusk out. And this is the guy that gives me 5 life, gives me a 3/3 creature. So I'm actually just going to play one of these guys because they have haste. Haste is where I can attack without having to wait a full turn. That is the description of haste. And whenever I cast 2 spells, I can bring it back from the graveyard, which you will see a creature go into the graveyard sooner or later. Return it back to my hand, or the battlefield, it's such a good card. Now I'm going to have a second one of those. So from now on out, every time I cast 2 spells, I'm going to be able to bring both these creatures back, and they have haste and they can attack right away. They're so sick. Flying. So the way flying works is a flying creature, if it attacks a person and the person does not have flying creatures to block with, it automatically attacks them. You can't do anything about it unless you have a card that has reach, and reach is basically it can block flying creatures, but most creatures can't. But flying creatures can block land creatures. Just think about it in two different levels. A flying creature can attack over top of a land one, but if a land one attacks, a flying one can swoop down and block it. So he's got a 2/2 flyer, and whenever this creature, it says whenever Kemba's Guardian enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. So he's going to gain some more life. He's going to gain 4 more life. It's so gross. Alright, now I'm going to gain life. When Thragtusk enters the battlefield, I gain 5 life. When Thragtusk leaves the battlefield, meaning going either back to my hand, wherever it goes, if it leaves the battlefield, I get to put a 3/3 green beast token on the battlefield. That is my card. And then I put this guy out, and then the mechanic is just, I'm going to keep producing 5 life and a 3/3 creature every turn. It's just so beast. Every turn, there's nothing. He's fucked now. He's fucked! I'm not going to attack with that creature ever, because I'm just going to be putting it back to my hand. It's going to leave a 3/3 creature behind, and then I play it the same turn, and I have another stomp card. Fucking so sick. See, he's attacking me with his 2/2 flyer, which I cannot do anything about. This game is fucking over. Over like Donkey Kong. He gains more life because he brought in a creature. More mana, that's what I'm talking about. The thing is, do I want to bring this guy in? No, I don't. I want to bring in... I'm going to bring in this guy. And... I don't really care about the rest of my cards, to be honest with you. Because what I got on the battlefield... One thing I have not explained is the phases. There's different phases. So you can play your cards from your hand, unless the card says otherwise, in 2 phases. Once at the beginning of your turn, once at the end of your turn. And then in the middle there's a combat phase, where there's attacking done. I am going to just continue to attack with this little 4/3, because anytime I cast 2 spells, it comes back from the graveyard. I am not now is my other main phase, which they're called main phases. I could play another card, but this guy is good because of the thing called multi-kicker, where I get to put a +1/+1 counter on it for paying extra mana. So there's no real point in playing that card. I think this next turn I am going to... So now he's hitting me for 4 in the air, which I cannot block. So it puts me down to 18, he's at 29. So now it's like, hey, at the beginning of your turn, put a card back in your hand. I'm going to put this guy. I get a 3/3 beast behind. I'm getting a new land at 7. I need 8. Play this guy. Waste. Target. That basically says, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna play this guy. And I'm gonna save that for if I ever want to bring those creatures back. So I'm not gonna play him. I'm going to attack with my 2 4/3 creatures. I could attack with the 4/4 that's been on the battlefield for quite a few turns, but the thing is that I want him to use his ability every turn. So if he gets blocked, I'm screwed, and if he dies, I'm screwed. So I'm attacking him for 8, 2 4/4 creatures. Whether or not he's going to take the damage, he apparently did. Now I can't do anything about his flying creatures, so I'm just going to keep attacking him for 8, and now I'm going to be able to bring out my Thragtusk next turn and gain some life. This deck is hard, which makes the games go long, so this is going to be a long episode. I hope you guys are enjoying the little magic that I got. Now, I'm going to put this guy back in my hand, so that way I get to draw a card whenever I play him. I can almost do both. I can't. Alright, so I'm going to do this guy. I'm going to gain my 5 life. I'm going to play this guy. And it's going to allow me to draw another card. And I'm going to continue to attack with my... Now I can attack with this 3/3. Which is just going to get blocked, but I can't really kill it. Oh, I could. That's the 3/3 beast that I made 2 turns ago by putting the Thragtusk back to my hand. So he took the 8 damage and decided to block the 1/3/3 with his 2/4, which is a perfect example of what cards can do. So I attacked him with my 3/3, and he blocked with his 2/2 flyer, his 2/4 flyer. So my creature does 3 damage and has 3 health. So it did 3 damage to his creature that has 4 health, so it did not kill it, and his creature did 2 damage to my 3 health creature, which did not kill it, so nothing happened. But I just attacked with it so that way he couldn't choose to block another creature. It wouldn't force him to take more damage. Now I cannot do anything about his flyer unless I want to bring this guy out. It's got reach. Now what reach is, it means that it's a land creature that can block flying creatures. And whenever this creature enters the battlefield, I get to destroy a target flying creature. So if I'm really worried about his flying creatures attacking me every turn, I can bring him out. But I don't really care to. I'm just gonna keep producing little 3/3s and gaining life every turn. Alright, let's try and end this game, actually. Let's put this fucker on the battlefield. He costs 7. Unless there's something else I want to do. Nope, we're going to do that. And he's got haste, Now what haste is, from my previous cards, you can see them with the little flaming red emblem on the side of the cards. This guy, I'm going to attack with this 3-3, 4-3, and an 8-5. Now I just brought that card out, but because it's got haste, it can attack immediately. So now he's going to try and kill that little guy. My one guy is strong enough to kill one of his guys. He's down to 13, so he's dead on my next turn. I'll just attack with everything. I'm going to have to put something back in my hand. I'll just put the 1-1 back in my hand and just attack with everything. He's going to have to block a lot of it. So he might not be dead, but he's going to have to block a lot of it. So we're going to put this back in my hand. I'm going to play a land. I'm going to... I could destroy one of his creatures, actually. No, that'll give him a 3-3 beast. Yeah, we're gonna attack. Do I care about anything I have now? Nope. I am going to attack with everything. Because I have 5 creatures, he has 4, and only 3 of them can block because one of them is tapped. So he's gonna block all those. And he's down to 7, so he's not dead now, but he'll be dead in the next turn. Kinda wanna kick this fucker. He's dead on my next turn anyways, doesn't even matter. I'm just gonna do that to draw a card. And I will play him to draw another card. And playing him puts a land, allows me to grab a land, a mana, from my library and put it onto the battlefield. And I'm done. Whatever, he's dead on my next turn. Unless he can wipe the board. There's cards that say destroy all creatures. If he could do that, he could save himself. Why is he attacking? He's got 2 cards in his hand, so maybe he can... I don't know, he's got something up his sleeve. I put something back in my hand. I will put a little 1-1 back in my hand. And I drew into another one. But I'm done. I'm just going to kill him. So I'm done with that. Go on to my attack phase. He can block with 2 creatures. Say he's got a card in his hand that destroys 1 creature. I want to attack with 4, where I'm guaranteed to do 7 damage. So, he blocks. He's going to block the 8. He's going to block the 4. He's going to block those 4. You can only block 2, so he's going to block an 8 and a 4. And the other 2 are dealing 8 damage that he's not blocking. Like I said, maybe he's got 1 card in his hand that can deal with that. That should kill him. No matter what he's got in his hand. He's only going to block 1 creature, and he's going to be like, oh, I'm going to take damage. Alright, so that's how you play Magic the Gathering. A quick little tutorial. I'm going to do my best to bring you some more of these gameplays and give you quick little how it works. Give you quick little tips and explain, try to do my best to explain what's going on. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. I hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. And this is Lex Coupe saying, rate, comment, subscribe. Do what you do, skadoosh.